Oh, thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vault Excel. Hard runnings, everybody. Hard runnings. Terrible news coming out of Nashville, Tennessee, pertaining to Riley Strain, 22 years of age, Mizzou student, uh, there on a trip with his frat brothers. Sadly, he has been found early this morning. We're going to bring you that said information. This is a three-part live. It may run long, so feel free to come back at your convenience to watch this live stream. Carlee Russell and also the Fletchers. They have been sentenced to 20 years for the death of their daughter, Lacey. Carlee Russell has received probation for her fake crime hoax last summer, claiming to have been kidnapped and seeing a child on the interstate. Let's get down to business, everybody. WKRN News is the source. Welcome to the Vault Excel.
Hey, good morning to you. I'm Blake Eason here at News 2. We're following breaking news right now. We can confirm the body of 22-year-old Riley Strain has now been recovered here in Nashville. We're expecting a press conference from officials right now. We do believe they're there getting set on the ground. We're anticipating to hear from Metro Police. Let's listen in and see what they can say about the case.
Nashville Police Department will be speaking with you. Chief Drake.
Thank you, Don. Good morning, everyone. This morning around 7:28 a.m., we received a call from a worker on 61st Avenue at a company that adjoins the Cumberland River that had been searching for anything that would pop up on the river, especially looking for Riley Strain if he would surface here. As they were removing an object from the river, they noticed what appeared to be Riley Strain pop up. The fire department was called in, retrieved the body from the river. The medical examiner's office reviewed the body, and we've confirmed that it is Riley Strain. The family has been contacted. That if there are no signs of foul play at this time, according to the examination here at the riverbank. Mr. Strain still had the shirt on that he was wearing, still had the watch, and other identifying factors that helped us identify who he is. I want to say to the family, my heart and prayers go out to you all for this very unfortunate and tragic incident. I also want to say thank you to the Nashville community and the Outpoint community of the Outpoint support from the community in trying to help us locate Mr. Strain. I also want to say thank you to our USAR team and to the fire department and OEM and TWRA and everyone else, including the media, for everything that you've done, for the countless tips that came in. We received nearly 200 tips as of yesterday that we were vetting out. So at this time, the family's been notified. There will be an autopsy, more than likely sometime today, and we'll have a little bit further from that point. So thank you.
Is there any other additional evidence that points you to here that seems like you've been going active for a while now? It's just that you fell into the river accidentally.
Yeah, there's no other evidence that suggests anything other than we have reports that normally under these circumstances with his height and weight that he could have surfaced between 14 and 20 days. This is the 14th day, so we were really expecting anytime soon to find him. In fact, our search teams were going to put in the water here this morning and then search from this point further down. So we were in the right spot. It's just unfortunate, but there's nothing to suggest anything other than any foul play, you know.
You said these were crews that were actually looking for him that found them?
Yes, that's so the workers typically on the river, whether it's barge companies, concrete companies, other businesses that actually are on the river, and they look routinely. It's happened countless times before. And as they moved, I believe, a barge, and don't quote me on that, they removed something from the river, and as they moved it, they noticed Mr. Strain, so and called it in.
They work on the water. They weren't necessarily search crews.
Right, yeah.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
And so that was Chief Drake there addressing the media this morning after heartbreaking developments in the search for missing 22-year-old college senior Riley Stray. We can confirm the body was pulled from the Cumberland River this morning. Chief Drake answering questions from the media this morning, giving us an update on the case. A couple things I want to note from the press conference that Chief Drake mentioned. Right now, there is no sign of foul play. In fact, he mentioned a shirt that he was last seen wearing when he disappeared in downtown Nashville that night. Chief Drake addressing the media, saying that they want to thank the community. They received over 200 tips when it comes to any information that could have led to finding Riley Strain. The family has been notified in terms of where this kind of whole thing is and the timeline of it all. Today marks day 14. They were expecting, if he was in the river, a body to be found 14 to 20 days. And today, obviously, marking day 14 since his disappearance in downtown Nashville. Typically how this works, Chief Drake was saying, as these workers move up and down the river, they move these barges. That can begin to kind of move the water in a particular direction to get debris surface to the top. And so a worker was called in. A body was found around 7:30 this morning. And to catch you up to speed, heartbreaking development here in this case, as Metro Police confirmed the body of 22-year-old college senior Riley Strain has been recovered here in downtown Nashville. Obviously, this has been a massive nationwide story, gaining attention from everywhere on social media as more and more people flocked down here to Nashville to hopefully bring this family some closure. So obviously our thoughts are with the family this morning. We will, of course, stay on top of this story as we continue to learn more, and any new updates, we will pass that along to you at WKRN.com. Thank you for trying.
All right, everybody. WKRN News 2 is the source. Recap. Riley Strain, 22 years of age, from Missouri, student at Mizzou, has been recovered. A worker, not a searcher, found him. He was under a barge. So one would wonder how long he's been under there. I did pose that question during a live stream. This is it's still a very weird story. People are still going to have questions. But the one thing, besides his body being found, is that he was wearing the shirt. And I mentioned this in the live stream last night. I went live because something was still bothering me, about the case. It's still a strange case. But what did I say during the live late last night into the wee hours? I said, you can't believe everything that people say. So now this is a problem still. You now have a body. Sad for the family, friends, people who, know the man. But now you got to dissect what's been said and put out to social media and the news. All this back and forth. The parents upset with the police, not getting information, videos. This last video wasn't released. They said it was grainy. What did I say in that live? I said, maybe the police know more than what you all think, because they don't tell us everything. And it's easy to assume this and that. And now you have the man in the shirt. So now you got to explain this woman's account of what she thought she saw. This Ross guy running to people saying he found a shirt, and why it was such hot news to be telling everybody in the homeless camp that you found a shirt. And I chopped that up. Was he involved? Not involved? What's the deal? And who would implicate themselves knowing they took the shirt off of a dead person, was involved in a crime with a dead person, whatever, took a shirt, and now you hear he's wearing the shirt. So anybody listening in La La Land, Riley Strain was found in that black and tan shirt. The next question, besides this he said, she said business of the shirt, of the homeless man, of what the Sabrina lady thought she saw. What will the autopsy say? What will the autopsy reveal? What actually happened to get him in the river? Because the river isn't just, accessible for you to just walk into, fall into. And as you heard an elderly man fell in there yesterday, that is something I meant to mention during the live stream last night, is that why are you people sleeping on the river? It's not like a river bank that you could just, lie flat. So I don't get it. I don't understand. A news story is out that someone possibly fell in the river, and yet a person would still be near the river to fall in. And you have seen what it looks like in the general area where he was allegedly, has allegedly fallen in, or however he got in there. Why would anybody still go near the river? Please explain to me, because I'm very confused. I don't even understand how he got in there. You could come up with 1,000 hypotheses. Many people did before finding out how he got in there. One person's theory that I, saw yesterday was a very interesting one, that perhaps he was throwing up over the rail, card fell out the pocket, and he went to try to reach for the card and then coasted on down into the water. Nice little drop, but a straight shot if it's in the area where it's just kind of marshy and no barriers, no trees, no branches. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know if the child wanted to be in the water. I don't know. It's all bizarre to me still. And what is still bizarre, the phone pinging. Allegedly sends to friends at 11 p.m. And now we're supposed to assume he was already in the water. I don't know what to say about nothing. Even now with finding his body, I'm utterly confused. Please take the poll. Will this investigation be concluded without foul play? Because naturally an autopsy will be conducted. Will they find that there are no wounds exacted by another human being? Did he have a concussion? Will they find that out in the autopsy? Any type of head injury or injury sustained possibly in a fall? We will see. 46% of you said yes, that this investigation will be concluded without foul play. 23% says no, and 31% of you are not sure. Please take the poll, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and end that poll. Now people, as I said, are still going to be talking and wondering until an autopsy is concluded to how he got in there. That's still going to be a mystery to many people. You have the chief here saying, no foul play from what they saw today. But we know you don't bank on that. And I'm not here to say that somebody did anything to him. Just common sense. You want to get the autopsy so you can have closure into, cause of death, manner of death, all of that. So what will the autopsy reveal? Now, as for our little friends in the homeless camp, this Mystery Ross and this Miss Sabrina who went to feed the homeless, how are you all feeling now that his body has been recovered and he was wearing the black and tan shirt? Because as I said before in my live streams, the shirt is possibly mass-produced like anything else, such as this top I'm wearing. You don't know where a person could get a piece of clothing from, online, buy from the store, liquidated store, Ross, TJ Maxx, wherever. You don't really have an idea of anything. Hello, Sammy. Thank you. Thank you for the donation. Thank you. You don't know anything. This is why I do not like repeating gossip and versions. And a lot of people can't understand that about talking about true crime and talking about a situation. When you start repeating what somebody said over here, I don't care if it's on the news or where it is, social media, it becomes a problem. Because you had YouTubers banking on this shirt, banking on this woman, banking on the homeless people. You understand? And what did I say last night? I said, imagine he's found in the shirt, in all of his clothes. Because that's what I was curious about. When Evie sent me the notification he was found, I said, oh Lord, what is he wearing? So now, what do these people have to say now about assuming a homeless man had the shirt, got the shirt, found the shirt on the rail, and maybe he did find the shirt on the rail. Maybe the shirt is actually a replica of the one that this young man was wearing, but it wasn't that shirt, you understand? Because common sense should tell you that things are mass produced. If you go in a store right now, a major department store, there is not one shirt or pair of pants on the rack. There are possibly 10, 15 of the same damn shirt, same damn pants. Do you understand? And just because you may buy a shirt, let's say at Belk, it does not mean that same shirt can't be found in another store, online, manufactured or sold by another company. That's what people don't seem to understand. I wasn't here to put my stamp on anything because nothing was adding up. And as I said before, the reason why nothing is adding up is because you don't know the truth. You don't know what really happened. We still don't know what happened. We have a body now, but we don't really know what happened and how he got in the water. Because as I said, the water is down here. He's last seen up here. So you got to figure out how you go from up here to down here. And it's still going to be baffling to many of us. It's probably still baffling to his parents. But as I stated in my last live stream, you don't know this young man. You don't know what he was thinking. You don't know what he was going through. You don't know if he was upset, if he had become depressed while walking, if he felt some type of way. Also, the journey to wherever the hell he was trying to go, allegations that he was throwing up. So now you can't even bank on that. So now you got to wait to see what was on the shirt. Will there be evidence if they can conclude that there was regurgitation on the shirt? That's another thing. Let's talk about the possibility of where he was going, not going. Let's discuss that briefly. As you heard information that there was another Tempo or Your Tempo business in the Google search, okay? I found another Tempo. It's like 31 minutes away from the said general area, and it's a coffee shop that closes at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So that's not even the Tempo that they were talking about, this other Tempo. So we have the Tempo Hotel where he was staying with his frat brothers, okay? Downtown Nashville. Let's chop up the distance. Thank you for joining me. Tempo Hilton to Your Tempo, a company that deals with music, and I Googled it earlier what they do. They work with music groups, and how can I word this? I'll have to pull it back up, but it's a software company, and they work with music groups and publishing. This Your Tempo. So we have Tempo Hilton downtown, and then we have Your Tempo, a software company. It is 5 minutes by car from Tempo Hilton to Your Tempo. 25-minute walk by foot, depending on your footings. Hilton Tempo, same hotel, to the Loop 32 Bridge on Broadway, 301 Broadway. 5 minutes by car. Once again, another 5-minute duration. 10-minute walk. The Hilton Hotel to that Your Tempo. In case he Googled and did not pay attention and got the tempos mixed up. Once again, his hotel to the Your Tempo software company. 5-minute car, 25-minute walk. Tempo Hotel to the Loop Bridge, where he allegedly was partying with the guys. 5-minute by car, 10-minute walk. Robertson Parkway Bridge to Loop 32, the bar. 5 minutes by car, 17-minute walk. Naturally, Loop 32 is closest to the bridge, which we saw footage of this young man going in that direction in the clips that have been shown, him making his way over to the river, and many of us were curious to why he was over there. Now, once again, Robertson Parkway Bridge to Loop 32, the bar. It's a 5-minute car drive and a 17-minute walk. Robertson Parkway, which is where the ping is last, to your tempo. If we're to say he Googled and made the wrong choice of which tempo to go to. So let's say he Googled, he pulled up tempo, he's inebriated, he's not paying attention. Let's say he Googled from Robertson, somewhere in that area. Because I don't know. It's a 3-minute car drive and a 12-minute walk. So where or how did he Google by mistake your tempo at some point in his journey from Luke Bridge, or Luke 32 Bridge, however you want to word it, Luke 32 Bridge? That's what we'll wait to also hear. If he Googled tempo and got the wrong one, which would be your tempo, software company, and he decided to walk according to the directions that Google search gave him. Once again, Robertson Parkway Bridge to the Your Tempo software company. 3-minute car ride, 12-minute walk. Did he pull up the wrong tempo? He pulled up your tempo and took those directions at some point during the evening. And this is how he ended up over by the river to then go into the river, allegedly on his own. Still strange to me. And as I said, I'm not here to say he fell, pushed. I'm just saying it's all strange. Still strange to me. Because I'm not a water person, but as I said before my live stream yesterday, I can't judge this story according to Angela. Because one, Angela's not walking by the water, period. Oh, you understand what I'm saying? I'm not going anywhere at night by the water. I'm not trying to get on a boat, river cruise. I don't care for water. I don't swim. So this is why. But I'm not him. I wasn't drunk. So that's the whole point of the story. You're trying to put the story together according to a drunk person. Also, the attitude and disposition of that same person. And when you don't know people, you can't say what they should and should not do, what they could have done. Because really that's all this case has been built on. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, but you're not him. Because what did I tell you? You don't really know what happened at that bar. And I don't care what the father says. I don't care what anybody on YouTube says. I don't care what the news says. Everything started at that damn bar. Every conversation, every look, everything. And whatever was said at that bar is how that guy got over there by that damn river. Did he Google the wrong location, Mr. Strain? Was he unfamiliar with downtown Nashville? Or was it just because he was inebriated and he just took off walking? Did he Google tempo during his journey downtown? What happened for Mr. Strain to end up in the water? Did he fall over the rail, sit down on the rail, lost his footing, fell over backwards, straddling it? Or was there something else going on? Rumors of an altercation, which now, at this point, you really can't bank on anything he said, she said. Just saying. Because so far what you've heard of he said, she said, it's not panning out. Or shall I say, has not panned out. So now are you going to believe version of somebody heard a scuffling, Apple Watch on, oops, forgot to throw that in. So we have the shirt on, the watch on. Only thing missing would be what? Wallet, keys, or phone. Possibly in the water, don't know. Shirt on. I'm assuming his pants were on. Don't know. Were the boots on? Don't know. Did he sustain a concussion through the night on his journey? We saw that he fell Did he hit his head on the concrete, or did he hit his head on the pole or that concrete boulder? Once again, the rumor of the shirt, a woman seeing the shirt allegedly under a jacket of a homeless person. He appeared dirty to her. Rumors that he was talking to people about the shirt. People verifying that that he talked to them about the shirt, which is strange, and conferred this with a Mr. Chris Dingman, who's a family friend, before it got out to the public, and also before this regurgitation business with the shirt. But yet Mr. Strang was found with the tan shirt, black and tan shirt. Still an odd story, because an autopsy naturally has to be conducted. What will the autopsy reveal? What is next in this case? Prevention. How can this be prevented the next time pertaining to anyone, any of us? Due diligence is number one. Mind your friends, your company. And if you are the type of person that does not want to mind people that you're in the company with, then I suggest you don't go out with anyone. Let me say that during this live stream, because I think it needs to be said. You cannot put faith in people to do right by you. You cannot put faith in people to look after you. You also cannot expect people to navigate properly with a full, clear thinking head if they are inebriated, because one person can navigate damn near sober, but drunk, the other person cannot. And that is what people need to understand about people. One, you do not know people. You don't know the mindset of people. You assume you know, but you don't. This young man allegedly has been to Nashville before on the same trip, same criteria, but yet this time he is found in the water. And so what you have to ask yourself is, what is the difference between the last time he and his comrades went to Nashville for the same trip versus this trip in 2024? You have to ask that question because it's relevant. It's very relevant. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of what you're drinking and imbibing and what you're taking from people. Be aware of your alcohol consumption, and know that anything can happen and jump off in a matter of seconds. That is what you need to take from this storyline pertaining to Riley Strang. That you need to be aware of yourself. You need to be aware of your attitude, your disposition, your alcohol consumption, and you also need to be aware of the company that you keep. Because all of what I just mentioned is a component of whatever happened to Riley Strang. Poor decision making. Very poor decision making. But the point is, he's inebriated. So like I said, what you would do is totally different than whatever he did on this fateful night, March 8th. I feel sorry for his family, because I'm sure they were hoping to find this young man alive. And as I brought you content pertaining to this disappearance, I did not know what to think. The past couple of days, I was all over the place. I did not know if this was a hoax. I did not know if maybe he just went off the grid, was upset. Did not know if he was in the river. Did not know if he was on land. Because the first thing I did say for sure in my head, I didn't think he was downtown, you know, in a building, or because his height, hard to conceal. So that's the one thing I did say to myself. I don't think he's downtown. I don't think he's, you know, hidden in any type of building structure. And he has not. He was not. Many of you thought he was in the river. And I will admit, at some point, I did not think he was in a river, because I didn't know what to think. Because with the latest video, which, you know, we have not seen, I was trying to figure out where this story was going. And naturally, anyone with some sense would wonder, where was it going? And I think that's what threw many people off, and possibly the parents as well, is when the footage came out with him talking to the police officer, and then you go back to the 911 call from the friends and them saying the Snapchat pinged it at 11 p.m. That really, really didn't make any sense. And so Banfield, they did the version last night, playing the 911 call at the end of her broadcast. It would lead you to wonder, well, why are these people saying 11 o'clock? You see his phone pinging, and now we get information he's found in the water. So how would the phone be pinging at 11 p.m.? So now that is still possibly an issue until you find the phone, or if they ever find the phone. So is the phone in the water near or in the water somewhere? Or was it found in his pockets? If he's wearing pants? I don't know. But I must say, this is a baffling story. Once again, Riley Strain found 8 miles down in the river. The chief of police has given a brief statement pertaining to him being found by workers, not searchers. He was under a barge. And I'm wondering how long he had been downstream and how long had he been under that barge, because I did mention that in the live stream yesterday. Perhaps he's stuck on something under the water, if indeed he's under the water. And I also said, well, imagine if you're hung on something, how long it would take for you to be unhung under the water. You also hear this time frame of up to 3 weeks of floating underneath the water and surfacing. Ida moved out of the water, and he was found. It's a very baffling story, everybody. Very baffling. So once again, what will the autopsy show pertaining to Mr. Strain? What will we hear and learn? I will go back and forth during this live stream pertaining to him, but I want to go to my other stories because I'm already 32 minutes in. Prayers to the family and the friends and the community. Nashville, also Mizzou and Springfield, Missouri. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $BigAngie129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. This is a 3-part live. We will talk about all the subject matters during the live stream, but I don't want to sit on one story too long. I want to get on down to business. Let's get on over to Alabama pertaining to Carlee Russell. Let's go to the court hearing and hear what happened during court. She has pled guilty to the abduction hoax that took place last summer. Al.com is the source. Thank you for joining me. Part 2, everybody. Carlee Russell.
I swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
You are Carlee Russell.
Yes, sir.
You can put your hand down. This is CC 23-888 and 889. You were charged in each of these cases with making a false police report, which are misdemeanor offenses. We showed you a document titled Explanation of Rights. Did you go over this document with your lawyers?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature on the last page?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about this document or about your rights?
No, sir.
First thing, there is no plea agreement here. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
In CC 23-888, that's a misdemeanor offense of making a false police report. How do you plead?
Guilty.
And in CC 23-889, as to the misdemeanor offense of making a false police report, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Do you have, let's see, a little out of order here. I'm showing you Court's Exhibit B. Did you go over this document with your lawyers?
Yes, sir.
And is that your signature at the bottom?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied that your attorneys, Mr. Emery Anthony, Richard Jaffe, and Lucky Milad,
Yes, sir.
are good and competent attorneys that have represented you well?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with the plea agreements in these cases?
Yes, sir.
You're pleading guilty of your own free will?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced you or coerced you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
Has anybody promised you anything in exchange for your plea?
No, sir.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, sir.
All right, at this time, before we proceed, well, I find that your plea was made knowingly and voluntarily, and based on your plea, I find you guilty. Before sentencing, first, is there anything that the Attorney General's office would like to add?
Yes, Your Honor, if you don't mind, As the court is aware, I have asked to speak today, and I have a lot to say, but the court has asked me to limit it to 2 minutes, so I will do that. First of all, this case has always been about respect for law enforcement and respect for this community as a whole. Ms. Russell faked a kidnapping, duped the community, and contrived this situation. We still, Judge, don't know to this day where she was, how she got there, what she was doing, with whom she was doing it with. Once we figured out that she was supposedly missing, the community got involved. Hundreds of people got involved. They took time away from their families, their work, their fun. Law enforcement got involved, from federal, state to local. And they took time away from their family, their people, their work, other cases that needed to be solved. This has been a case that it was taken advantage of, and it's our contention that Ms. Russell knew this would happen. She had researched it on the computer. She had researched search terms about Amber Alerts and the movie Taken, all of those things. And then, Judge, when she came home, we have ring camera footage of her walking casually down her parents' street, and when she gets in front of her parents' house, she runs up there and starts beating on the door. Police were called. The body cams show that she's flailing around and still perpetuating this ruse that she was kidnapped. The ambulance is called. She goes to the hospital and she finally speaks with law enforcement, and that's when she tells the story about that orange-haired man and woman playing with her hair and eating cheeses. This ruse continues. And it doesn't stop until a couple of days later when her lawyer issues a statement. So I have to say, Judge, that because of this ongoing complete disrespect for this community as well as law enforcement, it is our contention that she should get some jail time. I understand that it's a misdemeanor. I do. But because of the effect it has had on law enforcement as well as on the community, we feel even if it's weekends in jail or nights in jail.
While the district attorney is laying out what was done during the time she exacted this host, Carlee, she's standing here in court right now during this hearing, because this happened yesterday. She's tearing up. She's tearing up because she knows what she did was, it was wrong. Now, does she actually have remorse? I don't know. But, you know, once a person is starting to repeat what you've done, they're repeating to the court what you've done. In her mind, she knows, oh my God, I could get a real serious sentence. I could actually go to jail because her hair is braided up, something most people would probably do, prepare for jail, because, you know, you're not going to be combing your hair and looking cute in jail. So let me get my damn hair braided up because I might be in there for a while. It's all crazy. She knows what she did, but does she have remorse? That's the problem. So tearing up in court is expected while the district attorney is saying, hey, these people have families. They have things to do. They got places to go. They're out here looking for this woman, and she knows what she did was wrong, or let's just say she knows what she has done because she researched it, rather. So she's tearing up while the district attorney is reading this, you see. And that's to put on for the judge. You understand what I'm saying? Put on. Put on for the judge. Please don't give me a heavy sentence. Please don't give me a heavy sentence. Well.
But some sort of incarceration is warranted in this case. I think I kept it under 2 minutes.
All right, thank you, Ms. Wise. Is there anything from the defense attorney?
Jack, what we're gonna do is let Ms. Russell finish the statement.
Okay, Ms. Russell, before being sentenced, you do have a right to make a statement. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Yes, sir.
Before she gives her statement to the court, where was she? Common sense should tell anybody that they investigated this case, okay? This is how they found out that she lied. Problem is, they have never brought forward information to where she was, detectives. As you hear the district attorney speaking, we still don't know where she was. So let's ask this question. Where was she? Lord, I wish these people get out my damn chat. Where was she? Did she have help? Where did she stay? In town, out of town? How did she get around? How did she show up to her parents' house? They've got her on footage showing up, as you hear the district attorney describing her demeanor when she walked up to her home. How did she get back to her house by foot? Somebody drove her there. Somebody else is involved in this crime. Because if you're going to say, well, nobody helped her, then that means she what? Just aimlessly walked around for 2 days in the state of Alabama, sleeping outside under what? Tree, magnolia tree, what? And her home is like 30-something minutes away from the mall where she worked at that time, or the area where she worked. So you got to ask yourself, the area where she worked, the interstate where she abandoned her car to exact this hoax of a child walking down the interstate, walked through the woods. Other side of the woods is a subdivision or a residential area. Common sense will tell us that someone lied in wait over there. No CCTV footage of a car, van, truck, whatever. Not even her walking, getting in a car, nothing. No visible abduction. So what was on the other side of those woods from the interstate? Was somebody lying in wait on the other side? If so, whom? And why would you go along with this? If there wasn't anyone on that other side of the woods, then we're basically saying she just walked around and sat somewhere, hid out for 2 days. And family troubles, mental problems, mental disease, defect, self-entitled, self-absorbed, wanted attention, sociopath, psychopath. What are we talking about here? And will she get help? Here's her statement.
Your Honor, I want to genuinely apologize for my actions and the resulting negative impact inflicted onto others. I made a grave mistake while trying to fight through various emotional issues and stress. I am extremely remorseful for the panic, fear, and various range of negative emotions that were experienced across the nation. I want to specifically acknowledge and take accountability for the pain and embarrassment that I inflicted upon my family, my church family, friends, neighbors, community, and all of those who were directly involved in search efforts for me. I also extend my sincerest apologies to the Hoover Police Department and every other law enforcement agency and personnel for the position that I put them in and for the resources used. I absolutely regret my decision and in hindsight wish that I had cried for help in a totally different manner. My prayer is that I will be extended grace and given the opportunity to redeem who I truly am and restore the positively esteemed character that I have worked so hard to attain for the 25 years of my life prior to this incident. I wholeheartedly can say that I've never had any malicious intent to hurt anyone. And I pray that you will feel my sincerity and that as I prepare to pick up the pieces and go on to restore my life, that you will witness the fruition of grace.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Russell.
As you hear her giving her rendition in court, is she remorseful? She apologizes to everybody, her family, church, friends, the community, the workers, the police department, but is she remorseful? See, as we've learned with true crime, seeing is believing. And sometimes what you see ain't really the truth. What you hear isn't the truth because everything's about perception. Now, there are people out here who probably think she's remorseful. She feels bad. But she hasn't thought about the long haul of what she has done. Because what she has done has caused damage to those missing, such as this case with Riley Strang. You start thinking of all type of crazy situations, scenarios, if it's real, if it's true, if the person is exacting a hoax. It's because of situations like this is when people start to think badly about other people missing. Then you have to think about the detectives working. Will they be diligent to exact the work to go into finding another missing person? See, people like her, Papini, they don't think about the repercussions for others missing. The hard work it takes, such as with Riley Strain. He had people who cared about him. That's how his body was found. Now imagine somebody else down the street missing, and there's nobody fighting for them. There's nobody out here on the news, on the radio, passing out flyers, setting up a GoFundMe, staying on the news every day, talking. Because there are a lot of people out here, they don't have friends and family who are diligent about finding them. They may not answer their phone, answer their door, and people just walk away and just be like, oh, well, I guess they don't want to be bothered. They don't want to answer their phone. See, everybody's situation is different. Everybody's situation is different. She had support. Riley Strain's family, they are supportive, but everybody does not have a supportive family, and they may meet with foul play, and there's nobody to hit the pavement, hit the news, hit the airwaves to fight for them. Is she remorseful? Sorry about that. Brief intermission.
When you first made this report, you alarmed the community, this community.
Take the poll.
You really alarmed the country, because the story went nationwide, as you know. And then when it came out that it wasn't true, not only was this community outraged, but the country was outraged. What you did was you wasted a lot of government resources, and you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay every dime of that in restitution in this case. It would be a waste of government resources to have a trial in this case.
Exactly.
We're taking responsibility, and we're not going to do that. It would be a waste of government resources to put you in jail.
Wow.
The most expensive thing the government does is incarcerate people. And we need to reserve our jails for people who are genuinely a threat to the community. Although we're...
Now you hear the judge saying, waste of community and government services. Too expensive to have a trial. I agree. Too expensive to put her in jail. I don't agree with that. Okay, some may say, well, Angela, she just lied. Okay, but people went out here looking for her. Just like the situation in Nashville. People were looking for him. It's work. It's a job. Whether you do it for free or you do it for pay. You don't know that she's learned a lesson, number one. You don't know if she's remorseful. And I get it. She hasn't murdered anybody. She hasn't assaulted anyone. But everybody's interpretation of a fraud or a hoax, oh, well, it ain't millions of dollars she stole. It ain't a big Ponzi scheme. But will she learn a lesson, you see? This is my opinion. I believe she deserves jail time. Because she was able to afford a lawyer, bond out of jail, stay out of jail, and then show herself up in this courtroom looking pretty and cute. Now, somebody else could have exacted this crime, and they asked for to sat in jail because they ain't had no damn bond money to get out. No money to afford a lawyer. She was afforded all of those things. Just like she was afforded a cushy life living at home with her parents and driving a damn Mercedes to steal from a job and go and Google shit and Google a movie and Google, how to get away with a crime and exact this crime to only be standing in court now, pleading guilty. Is she remorseful? I say she needs to be in jail. That's my personal opinion. Because it's a myth about people going to jail and prison. Oh, they'll learn a lesson. Yeah, people on death row right now, they ain't learned a damn thing because they don't care. They're empty. And they have committed numerous crimes to get to the point of going to trial and getting the death penalty. And you would say to yourself, well, you think they learned, they would have learned their lesson when they got arrested 5 times, 10 times. They don't care. Don't you see? We know that jail's expensive. We know that sending people to prison is expensive. Somebody's got to work, the guard, the warden, the cooks, the medical staff. But you don't understand because you're not in the penal system. If a person doesn't care, they don't care. And they can get arrested 5 times, 15 times, and still bond out, pretrial release, supervised probation, ankle monitor, and still go cut the damn monitor off and break the law. Out on sexual assaults, go rape a kid, rape a woman, rape somebody elderly. They don't care. Now, can she be redeemed? Of course. Is she remorseful? I do not know. Possibly not, okay? But everything's about perception.
They're upset about what you've done. You're not a threat to the community. I'm not going to treat you any differently than I would treat any other first-time nonviolent misdemeanor offender. Accordingly, the judgment and sentence of this court that you're sentenced in each of these cases to 6 months in the county jail. These sentences are consecutive with each other, and these sentences are suspended. You're placed on probation for 12 months, supervised probation. It's a condition of your probation that you pay full amount of restitution, which is $17,974.88 paid to the city.
Wait. He wants her to pay all the money while on probation. Now, that is something that usually happens 10 out of 10 times. While you're on probation, no matter what your crime is, you owe $200 fine plus court costs, probation. You got to pay your probation fees. You got to pay all that. You got to pay all of that to get off probation and not violate. So this heifer's got to come up with 17,000 racks, 17,000 dirty bones to pay to the city of Hoover, Alabama, before coming off probation. And let me tell you, people get in trouble every day for whatever reason, and they don't comply with probation, and they sure as hell don't pay their court costs and don't pay their fines, and it may not even be that much. It might be $600, $700. They still can't come up with the money for whatever reason, hardships, whatever. You're talking about $17,000 this heifer got to pay come this time next year. Say, well, will she pay it? Who's going to pay it? Mommy, daddy? Of course.
These sentences are consecutive with each other, and these sentences are suspended. You're placed on probation for 12 months, supervised probation. It's a condition of your probation that you pay full amount of restitution, which is $17,974.88 paid to the city of Hoover, 100 Municipal Lane, Hoover, Alabama, 35216. Pay that through the clerk's office on the first floor in this building so we have a record of it. I'm also sentencing you to serve, and this is a condition of your probation, 100 hours of community service. I want to see, when we come back, I want to see that you've made progress, if not have completed that community service. I understand that you're currently getting mental health counseling, is that right?
Yes, sir.
It is a condition at this point of your probation that you continue getting mental health counseling, and I'd like to see some proof that you're getting that counseling when we come back.
Very good.
The case is set for review hearing. We're going to review the amount of restitution that's been paid, community service, and that date is October 16 at 9 a.m. Anything else from the state of the defense?
Wait, some say, hold on one second.
At 216, pay that through the clerk's office on the first floor in this building so we have a record of it. I'm also sentencing you to serve, and this is a condition of your probation, 100 hours of community service. I want to see, when we come back, I want to see that you've made progress, if not have completed that community service. I understand that you're currently getting mental health counseling, is that right?
Yes, sir.
It is a condition at this point of your probation that you continue getting mental health counseling, and I'd like to see some proof that you're getting that counseling when we come back. This case is set for review hearing. We're going to review the amount of restitution that's been paid, community service, and that date is October 16 at 9 a.m. Anything else from the state?
October 16.
Thank you.
Al.com is the source. 100 hours of community service. Continue to see a medical professional, health professional, mental professional. Got to show proof of that. $17,000 plus has got to be paid to the city of Hoover, Alabama. Supervised probation. That's probably checking in probably once a week or more. then you'll act, because usually probation is once a month. You go in and see a probation officer. She'll probably have to go in at least once or twice a week for supervised probation. So supervised probation for a year, $17,000 plus in restitution to the city of Hoover, Alabama, 100 hours of community service, and also proof of seeing a mental professional. This is what's funny to me. Who is getting ready to pay the $17,000? Because that's got to be paid before she can come off probation. As with any person who's violated the law, go to court, get your sentence, you got to pay that money to come off of probation. That's the law. $17,000 is a lot of money. Okay? $1,000 a month times 12 is $12,000. So she got to come up with some serious change, $1,000 plus a month, to pay Hoover back. Who's going to pay that money? Her parents. Because 9 times out of 10, they've been supporting her since that bullshit that jumped off last July 2023 of a faux hoax of a child on the interstate and her being kidnapped by a white man and a white woman. You hear her talk about having personal problems, struggles. Most people don't give a fuck. What do I care about what you had going on, Carlee? Everybody's got something going on. Everybody's got health problems, mental problems, bipolar, PTSD, some type of mental defect, defunct, and they're still out here hustling, grinding, trying to live, trying to survive. And they're not out here beating little old ladies over the head to steal their purse, sexual assault, robbery, theft, fraud. You could have found 1,000 things to do with your time. This is what you would think to do, is Google how to get away with a crime, a faux kidnapping, watch Gone Girl, steal money from your job, stole a robe. Just stupid. Stupid. You didn't think you weren't going to get caught for stealing the money from the job, stealing whatever you stole from the job. Your Google searches, you know they're going to find that. This shows that you have no common sense. You have no common sense whatsoever. And the fact that the judge says, I'm not going to let her go to prison or jail because, one, it's expensive. This is a misdemeanor, by the state of Alabama. Naturally, they're trying to fight that, change the laws in Alabama pertaining to faux hoaxes, so you can get more time, which you should, because you're wasting resources and money. The judge says he doesn't feel like she's a threat. You don't know that she's not a threat because you don't know her. And this is what I always say about the people in the story who are out here committing these crimes, whether you believe they did it or not. You don't know her from a can of paint, Your Honor. And if she's willing to go to these lengths to exact a fake kidnapping, it's not even a full year later. How can you say what the hell is going on in the mind of Carlee Russell that she is not a threat to the community? Well, I'm going to talk to you for a minute, Judge. I understand you make your decision according to the law of Alabama, because that is how you all are supposed to render your decision for sentencing of a crime. But the one thing that you should know, because you all have a lot of crime in the state of Alabama, you all have a lot of fucking missing black people in Alabama that have not been found, and people are not out here rallying for them and out here trying to find all them damn missing black folks and black kids you got in Alabama. Yeah, I said that. You have a high recidivism rate of people running in and out of damn jail and prison in Alabama. So you in your mind is saying, oh, it's a misdemeanor today. Today it's a misdemeanor. You don't know the mindset of what she'll do tomorrow. Okay? What she'll do tomorrow. You hope she will find Jesus. She'll repent. She got to get a job, Your Honor. Let me put this computer down so I can really get crunk. Shut your mouth. You knew this was coming. Okay. It's an assumption. And I'm not here to say she has not redeemed herself. I'm not here to say, okay, she ain't found the Lord. She didn't prayed about it. God didn't forgave it. We know God forgives, so we ain't gonna talk about Jesus because that's a whole nother situation. God got it, ain't got nothing to do with Queen. I'm talking about common sense. You have a high recidivism rate of people committing crimes in Alabama. You have a lot of black folks on the missing persons roster in Alabama. Ask me how I know. I know because I talked about Camille McKinney missing many moons ago out of Birmingham, Alabama. You got folks dead popping up in Alabama, okay? High crime in Alabama. Birmingham is one of the worst cities in Alabama for crime, assault, robbery, so on and so forth. And your assumption is that she all right. She gonna follow through with probation, community service, mental health care, pay all the money back, and she all right. Well, I'm gonna say this to you, Your Honor. You better hope she all right, okay? You better hope she follows through with everything you told her to do in court yesterday, that she does not become a problem down the road, because now she's currently on probation, supervised probation. You better hope she don't find herself in no nonsense up until October when you're gonna call her back in to see if she's paid for everything and done most of the criteria what you asked her to do. Because let me tell you, she got to go get a job somewhere, Your Honor. She got to walk around in this community, Your Honor. If she moved from Alabama today, she still has to work and navigate in this place, this thing called life. She's got to work, Your Honor. Where's she going to work? Who's going to hire her? If she goes to apply for an internet job where she stays at home, the employer is going to do a background check, Your Honor. But we know that's not your problem, right? That's a Carlee Russell problem. Indeed. But see, that's the thing people don't think about when they're rendering the decisions for people when they go to court. Well, you committed the crime, you got to worry about what comes with it. And that is true. So she has a big problem. So whatever she was going through last July to concoct this crime is nothing compared to having to pay the $17,000 back, comply with the probation, do all the community service, do the mental health, and find herself some damn income. Now, allegedly she was going to, what, nursing school or something, which I thought that was kind of off. Why was she working in a spa if she went to nursing school? That's strange. So I don't really know the truth to if she has an actual nursing degree or not a nursing degree, or she was partway through the nursing program. I'm confused. So let's talk about that, Your Honor. Let's say she was trying to get a degree in nursing. Who gonna accept her in nursing school, or who gonna hire her as a nurse if she has a nursing degree? I'll wait. But once again, that's a Carlee Russell problem, because this is the situation she put herself in. So it's not up to the judge to worry about how she fares in life, how she makes it in life, if she'll pay that $17,000 back, if she'll comply with probation, if she'll do the community service, if she'll show proof she's seeing a mental professional. That's all on her, and that's the point of life. Once the judge gives his rendering, what you do is on you. How hard it is for you to navigate and make it, that's on you, because you put yourself in that situation. And this is what we all have to learn about breaking the law, whether it's a misdemeanor or it's a felony, that once the judge has rendered his decision for your sentencing, what you do after that is on you. Whether it's hard for you to get a job, housing, it's on you. And that's another thing she's not thinking about. How you going to work, Cookie? Where you going to stay? You going to keep living with your mom and daddy at 26, 25 years old? What about applying for an apartment, a house, renting property? It's already hard out here to find a place to live. How you going to never move out your parents' house because they're going to run a background check on your name for renting an apartment or a condo? See, this girl ain't got no damn sense, but this is her payback, because this is what she wanted to do for whatever reason, whatever the hell was going on with her mentally. This is her karma. You're going to have a hard time getting a job. You're going to have a hard time ever renting a place. You will have to have cold, hard cash to buy you somewhere to live. A trailer, a small house, a mini house, or something. And that's that. Carlee Russell, 1 year supervised probation for exacting a hoax in Hoover, Alabama last summer. 100 hours of community service. $17,000 plus to pay back to the city of Hoover, Alabama. Next court hearing, October 16, 2024, to see her progress in following the probation, the community service, the payment back to Hoover, Alabama, and the mental health. She also has to verify that she is seeking mental health. Carlee Russell, is she remorseful? I don't think so. She might be, but the point is she's made her bed. Now she's got to lie in it. She's going to have a hard road. And this is a choice. She made this choice, and now she has to pay for what has happened to her. So it's on her. And there are many people who have committed crimes, lied, defrauded, stole, whatever, and they have learned a lesson, and they have gotten on the right path, and they are living better lives. But that's the whole point about life. You have to want it, and you got to do the work and give the blueprint to show you want a better life and that you can be trusted. And you see, what she did is a matter of trust, violation of trust. So this is why it's going to be hard for her to get a job doing anything, because she doesn't know how to tell the truth. And as I have said before in my previous videos pertaining to her, she's probably lied most of her life. She probably told a lot of tales, made up stuff, fabrications, and the parents knew she was lying. People who dealt with her knew she was lying, but they dealt with her anyway. So it is what it is. And when you coddle people in wrongdoing, they don't learn from their mistakes, and they continue to do wrong because now it's a crutch. It's all they know. You know, it's like carrying a baby. It's their baby. It's all they know. And as I said, I won't doubt she's been a problem person. She's been a problem person, and she's been allowed to walk that journey. And then she exacted this crime in Hoover. And it's sad because there are missing people all over the United States, as you saw with the Riley Strain case. There are many black people, white people missing out of the state of Alabama, and those people have not been found. Let me make that clear. There is a high number of people missing out of Alabama, African-American people, and they did not get all this spectacular news of people looking for them, drones, searches, dogs, this and that, boats, or whatever. And she did this crime, making it worse for those missing people in Alabama and other places. Because people start to wonder when things don't add up, they'll start speculating and start, throwing out rumors, allegations against the person. Oh, they're lying, they're making this up, and this ain't adding up, which, everybody had their theories with Riley Strain. This is why. Because when things don't add up, people start thinking negatively. And is it right? Of course not. She made it bad for missing people. That's what pissed a lot of people off when she finally told the truth. And still to this day, as you heard the district attorney speak in this commentary, they don't even know where she was for 2 days. And that to me is not good. Because if she had help, then that means there's another crazy MF walking the streets just like Carlee Russell. See, you have to think about the information. If she had help, that person's walking free with no repercussions. And their mindset is just as jacked up as Carlee Russell. And if they saw the news and saw that she was missing and did not call 911 to say, hey, she's here, I don't know what's going on, but I don't want no parts of this, you are just as guilty as Carlee. And for all we know, she went to somebody to tell them what she was going to do. They hid her out. For all we know, she paid them some money. Somebody else knows about this story. I believe she had help. Because where was she? Was she just outside sleeping in the elements? You know what I'm saying? For 2 days? Where was she? That's my update, Carlee Russell. Third update. Thank you for joining me. This is a 3-part live, everybody. Riley Strain, Carlee Russell, and now the Fletchers. They have been found guilty for child neglect of their grown daughter, Lacey Fletcher. This is another diabolical story. Oh, but before I get to the Fletchers, let's hear from Hoover, Alabama, Chief of Police Nick Durzis. He speaks on his disappointment pertaining to this. ABC 3340 is the source. Sorry about that. Before I jump the gun on this case.
And unfortunately, to me, it's like 7-8 months late. I don't know why we didn't hear that back in July. And it's just unfortunate. There were a lot of people, I mean, the judge commented, not only in our community, but across the nation, that were real concerned for those couple of days. The $17,800 or whatever their restitution is not really close to really what the restitution should be. And bottom line, there should be consequences for your actions. It appears to me here the consequences are for the parents, because I would assume that they're the ones that have to pay for this. But, the judge has spoken. I do want to thank the legislature. The last press conference I gave, I talked about that this should be a felony. And I think we're headed that direction. So hopefully if anybody does anything like this again, then they'll be prosecuted in a different manner. But again, we leave here happy that it's over, disappointed that there will be no jail time whatsoever.
Could you give us a better figure as far as a ballpark amount?
The real figure should probably be in the 40s, at least $40,000 to $50,000 for all the money that we spent.
How do you feel that we still don't know why?
Yeah, I mean, that's the deal. We as the state said, we still don't know where she was during that period of time. Obviously, probably had help. We don't know who the help was.
Exactly.
And, again, to me, it's a little slap on the wrist. Pay your money and go forward. And I just think, because I'm just a little disappointed in all that. I felt better if they didn't want to give any jail time. Let's at least discuss where you were and find out what the circumstances were. I mean, we talk about everybody's got mental illness today, and
right.
She's got issues. Please get the help that she needs, and hopefully she'll lead a good life from here on.
When you're listening to her apology, did you feel that in her heart it was sincere?
Yeah, I think she's apologizing. I think she obviously went through a lot from. There were a lot of people upset, and I think she and her family heard that after the fact that when she returned home. But again, I would have felt better about her apology back in July, not in March, almost April. I would have felt a lot better to you.
Exactly. Very good point, says the chief. Where were you? How about telling us where you were if you had help? Exactly. That's the point I've made during this live stream. More than likely, she had help. So there's another busybody walking around free with no repercussions, no nothing. And he's telling you roughly $40,000 to $50,000 was spent on resources to look for Carlee Russell for those 2 days. He wished she had gotten jail time. And he's hoping that they can implement a change. So if the next person comes along, exacts the same hoax, they're going to go to damn jail or prison. This is bad business. Because if she doesn't have remorse and she's not sorrowful, she'll do it again or she'll do something worse. And that's what people need to understand. The situation she has put herself in is going to hurt her down the road. So she's not going to have no easy cushion life. The only way she's going to be able to live halfway decent is right now go get connected with A&E, Lifetime, or Netflix and do a documentary or do a movie to make some money to live off of for a few years. And she's going to have to get some high numbers in the 6 figures. High numbers in the 6 figures. And I ain't talking about no 1 and no 2 million, because you can blow through that in no time. And 9 times out of 10, that's what's going to happen. She's going to go sell herself to the highest bidder. and somebody's going to make a movie or documentary, and she's going to get a payment by all those sources to talk to them and do a rendition. But the gist of the story is you're not going to get the truth to who the fuck helped her. How about that? So what are you going to be selling us on a documentary or a movie? Because as you heard the chief say, I'd like to know where she was, and I'd like to know if she had help. So if you don't get that in the movie or the documentary, you still didn't get it in court just now, then what's the story going to really be about? Oh, I was depressed. I was upset. The world was on my shoulders. I exacted this hoax. I got probation, this and that, pay restitution. But the part of the story that's going to be missing is that she really tells you the truth why she did it and who helped her. Who helped Carlee Russell? Where was she? That's what the chief wants to know. Where was she? And did she have help? And the only way she's going to make a decent living now is to sell a story. And she'll probably get some nice lump sum. She'll probably get some nice piece of change. Because I would assume different people are going to come to her to offer her money for a documentary and a movie. So she'll get some money, but she'll still be Carlee Russell. That's the 411. Thank you for joining me. All right, let's get down to business. Topic number 3, everybody. The Fletchers, the dirty Fletchers. They have decided to tell the judge why they neglected their daughter, the young lady who melted in the sofa in her own fecal matter, in her hair, foam from the cushions in her mouth. Allegedly, they claimed that she was eating the cushion foam to survive. They basically are saying she was a difficult child. Didn't want to leave the house. They were stuck, didn't know what to do. The mother felt like nobody could take care of her better than she, which we know that's a damn lie. Because your daughter was emaciated. They couldn't even pull her out of the sofa because naturally she was attached to the sofa cushion. You will now hear the sentence that they got. WAFB is the source to this topic number 3, everybody. 3-part live. Thank you for joining me. You are now entering into hour 1, 17 minutes into this live stream. Thank you for joining me. All right. Well,
right nearby us that affected the whole community. What happened there? The parents let their daughter die in deplorable conditions. They will now spend decades behind bars. That was the decision from an East Feliciana Parish judge. Really just happened just a few hours ago. We've got some more reaction tonight on what this is doing to the community out there. Chris Rosado is live outside of the courthouse to catch us up on everything. Chris, good evening.
Hey, good evening, Greg. So family and friends of both Fletcher packed inside of the courtroom today for what turned out to be clearly an emotional day. Both parents, while they were on the stand, said if they could go back and do things differently, they would do anything to do so. We heard from multiple expert witnesses who were there the day Lacey was found melted into her parents' living room couch. They described it as one of the worst cases, if not the worst case, of human neglect they've ever worked in their entire career. Prosecutors were hoping to get the maximum sentence of 40 years on the charges of manslaughter. The judge ended up handing down half of that with 5 years of supervised probation after they have both served their sentences. When asked why they didn't get Lacey the help that she needed for so long, her mother said it was because she didn't believe anyone could care for her daughter better than her own mother. Here was the reaction from one of Fletcher's attorneys while he was describing this case.
The words that keep coming to mind are tragic, sad. You know, the Fletchers are very good people. They just got in over their heads. I think the judge was right. They should have reached out for help much earlier, and they didn't. And they said this much on the stand. So it's just very, very sad.
Now, once things wrapped up and we were heading outside, you could see many of the friends and family walking to their cars with tears pouring out of their eyes. A lot of the folks that were here today have known both of the Fletchers since they were in high school, so you can only imagine how that was for them. But the parish coroner said that today should serve as a wake-up call for anybody that has a family member with special needs. in East Feliciana Parish. Chris Rosado, WFB 9 News. Guys, back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you for that. Appreciate it. An insurance reform bill.
All right, so we have a 40-year sentence suspended by the judge. Judge, why would you suspend the sentence? Because they're already elderly people, 60 plus years old. You suspended the sentence of 40 years per parent. You hear their attorney speaking here that it's a sad situation, that they should have reached out for help. Who gives a fuck? How in the world can you say that? But see, this is what defense attorneys do. They sugarcoat what the hell their client has done or clients have done. The girl was she was 90 pounds found, okay? Don't know how much she actually weighed before she started just, sloughing off in the sofa. But the point is, probably 40 pounds or more she weighed. So you watched your child not eat. You watched your child starve. You watched your child use the bathroom on herself. And you also lived in the house. There was rodent infestation, rodent debris. I'll just let that sit right there. How in the fuck are you going to sit and tell a judge that you were a better parent than anybody else could have been for her? She became combative, this and that, or whatever. It's BS. Because if she was a troubled spirit, combative, didn't want to listen, nothing can logically explain you allowing her to starve to death and use the restroom on herself, not bathe, not have her hair combed. Her hair was matted, Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher. Fecal matter had encompassed the sofa cushion sofa. Other parts of the sofa you could see had turned different colors from where she has just sat there in that space and not moved. Armrest, the back of the sofa looks like a leather sofa. Very hard to tear up leather unless you just have a lot of roughhousers jumping on the furniture. Please stop the nonsense. You all became tired of dealing with her, which I see this with a lot of the cases pertaining to abuse of elderly, people who have developmental disabilities, autism, so on and so forth, and children who are deemed bad, whatever. I'm not there to say what the children are doing or not doing, or what the adults are doing or not doing. What I think is going on with a lot of people, no matter the circumstances behind closed doors, they have become tired, restless, hopeless, or just outright cold-blooded. They don't want to deal with the people no more, the children anymore. And so they start abusing the people, start throwing them off on other people, start leaving them in the house by themselves. That's what you're seeing now. And this has been going on. It's just a matter of who's going to tell the truth. I don't care about who they grew up and went to school with. I don't care about the fact they went to church, they call themselves Christians. That don't mean shit to me. There is no real definition of a Christian to do this to a child. You're a good human being. You're a good citizen. Y'all both had jobs. What does that have to do with what you did to your girl child? You were tired of dealing with her, taking care of her. You should have put her in a facility. You all had the means, I'm sure, to put her somewhere and pay to have her monitored 24 hours a day. And it's not to say that the people who would take care of her wouldn't have a hard job taking care of her. But you wouldn't have to be going to prison for abuse and neglect of your child. To me, it's murder. That's how I look at it. It's murder to me. Because she didn't get to this state overnight. You were her caretakers, so you were supposed to be providing adequate care for her. At any point when you decided that you no longer wanted to take care of Lacey, you should have put her in a facility for the developmentally challenged individuals. They have places for people like her, just like elderly, juvenile facilities, group homes, summer spares, but that's your responsibility. You became overwhelmed. You got tired. So we already know that you were leaving her alone, and probably leaving her alone probably most of her life. Because you need somebody to document when they last saw her walking about and seeming happy and breathing. For all we know, like I said, she's 36 years old. They've probably been doing that when she was 15. Because you know they had to go to work, go out of town, take trips, do stuff. Who was taking care of her? Every time they went out of town, they took her with them. So there has got to be somebody who can say, this is the last time I saw her, and this is the state she was in. She seemed happy, she seemed healthy, she seemed like she was eating, she had a normal weight. Where is that person? Where is their family, friends? Do they have other children? Something's missing. This is another story where there's missing pieces. Because they had a nice house, nice manicured lawn. Who's going to get your house? Who's going to take care of your house? Because you're going to probably be dead, so you won't be getting the house. So obviously you probably sold the house. You're going to give it to somebody. What's going to happen with their estate, their money, savings? Who's getting all that? I'm curious. Who can testify to when they last saw the little girl? Because really she's a woman. So who last saw her up and about, cheerful? Did they ever hire anybody to babysit her? If I'm to believe this version, she stopped wanting to eat, stopped wanting to go outside, stopped wanting to do stuff. When did that happen? Because they tried to portray this as a 10, 12-year storyline of abuse of a grown woman. Well, you can't live for 10 or 12 years being starved. Let me repeat that. You cannot live 10 or 12 years being starved. They put you at 3 to 4 days, no food, no water, but we know people have gone longer than that. People who have fallen in mines and wells and different things, caves, and they were in there for a week without food and water. But not 10 years, not 12 years. This is bullshit. What they did to their daughter is atrocious. And whether they ever laid a finger on her, ridiculed her, beat her, pushed her, pinched her, they failed her and they neglected her, and this is abuse. Because that's the whole point about abuse. There are many ways that you can be abused by another human being. And this is one of them. Neglect. And the fact that they lived in the house with her, let's talk about that. You stayed in the house with a person defecating and urinating on themselves in a common room. You didn't even have her in a room with the door closed. You walked through this room smelling her, and you got to tell the judge nobody else could do a better job but you? So this is your version of a better job. An emaciated 36-year-old woman that you gave birth to, that you helped plant a seed, sir. This is your best job. Well, I'd hate to see a job that you would do that would be deemed spectacular. And the people who are rallying behind the Fletchers, you need your ass whooped too. There's no way I'm going to go on a camera and rally for these two dirty MFs. I don't care that you know them from church, school. Who cares? There's no excuse for this behavior. And the audacity to sit in court and act like you have done nothing wrong. You had rats crawling in your house, defecating and urinating as well. And you didn't notice a rat running by your foot? They said they were all on the mantelpiece and the fireplace. Help me understand. So we go from the child in a room starving to death and hair matted and going down to becoming a skeleton with fecal matter, urine, melted into the couch. And we also got rats running around defecating and urinating in your fucking house. And you still want to tell the judge you did a good job? Nobody can do a better job than you. And you all heard this information, your so-called friends, and you still want to rally and say, these people are all right people. Okay. Well, I tell you what. Let's do that to you. Let's put all you all in a room and let you sit there and don't feed you, don't clothe you, don't bathe you, don't change your diaper, don't change your clothes, don't wash your clothes, don't wash your hair, and see how you feel. It is sad to even have to repeat that maybe you should go through the same thing. What the hell? You got to wear the other shoe to understand this is cruelty? People treat animals better than this. She was an animal. Her parents treated her like an old dirty dog. And you want to rally for this behavior, this monstrosity, to their own flesh and blood? It's one thing to abuse a stranger. Still wrong. But this is their child. And you have this stupid lawyer sitting up here talking about, it's so sad. Sad. Sad? We're past sad, honey. The girl was in the cushion of the couch. She was a part of the sofa. What the fuck you don't understand about that? What do you not understand about that? She was a part of the sofa. It was said it was hard to even remove her from the sofa because she had became of one with the sofa. And you all were living in the home, watching her deteriorate to bone, and did nothing. So 20 years was a slap. And I don't care if these were 20-year-olds who got the sentence. It still would be not enough in my book. If they were 20-year-olds that got arrested and charged and the sentence was 40 years, still ain't enough. Because people like this tend to get out of prison on good behavior. And that's about what's going to happen with them. 40 years sentence, suspended, got 20 years each, and then 5 years, once they're done with the 20 years, 5 years of probation, supervised probation, whatever, who cares? Because 20 years is going to look like probably 10. Because they'll be older, they'll be crying to their lawyer that they're sick, they are ill, they need a wheelchair, there's something wrong with them, and before you know it, we'll look up, if we're all still living, and they'll be out in probably 7 to 10 years, stroll out of prison in a damn wheelchair. If they don't end up having a heart attack or stroke in there first. That's what you're going to see next. A lawyer is going to be jumping back on TV saying that they're not well. They've had a nervous breakdown. They're getting mistreated in the prison. They're having some type of malfunction. That's what you're going to hear next pertaining to the Fletchers. That's the third part of my live of my updates. Riley Strain found in the river 8 miles down with the shirt and the watch. Now we got to wait on the autopsy to decide manner of death, cause of death. What do people have to say now about the damn shirt and the homeless person and the people who said they heard them, that he told them about the shirt, which all that didn't make any sense to me. Carlee Russell has received probation for her faux crime. She has to pay $17,000 back to Hoover, Alabama, the city. 100 hours of community service, supervised probation, and she also has to continue getting mental care and show proof that she is seeing a mental professional. That's Carlee Russell. And then the Fletchers, they have gotten a suspended sentence from 40 years to 20 years for the death of their daughter, Lacey Fletcher. The girl found melted in the couch. 5 years probation thereafter their sentence. And they feel like they haven't done anything wrong. Let's go back to Mr. Riley Strain before I check out of here and bring the latest information pertaining to him and a timeline of the events. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a very terrible day. Please go back to the beginning of this live where I chop up the timelines and the durations from one hotel to the next hotel, from the Hilton Tempo to the Your Tempo software company, Loop 32 to the other location. I map all that out at the beginning of this live stream so you can get a general idea of one place to the other. Just looking here for the latest updates pertaining to this debacle. Hold on, everybody. Oh, Lord. Court TV has a broadcast pertaining to the body of Riley Strain being found. I also brought you content from WKRN News 2 with the chief of police speaking pertaining to his body being found. News Nation has a video pertaining to the prevention of this case, what to do, not do, so you don't end up in this situation. I'm trying to find some newer content. So far, everything's just trying to find something that was uploaded a few hours ago. I guess I'll go back to the one that's got the most content. Oh, mercy. It's a bad day. What's going to happen now? What will the autopsy reveal pertaining to Riley Strain? How do the people feel who were passing the rumors about the shirt, the homeless man, Mr. Ross, Miss Sabrina, who said she saw a homeless man with the shirt on? Riley was found with that shirt on, found with the Apple Watch. This is why I do not like passing stories about he said, she said. This is why. And as I've said this many times during my live streams, a lot of people like to get attitudes because you don't bank on what they heard. This is why. I don't like repeating stuff. Because you don't know what's the truth. We still don't know what's the truth about the 11 o'clock ping of his phone. If he's in the water with the phone and he's floating, drowning, then what are the frat boys talking about? 11 o'clock. His phone pinging near the sheriff's office. Is that sheriff's office that court building right across the street from the area where he fell into the water or what? I don't know. I'm still kind of confused at what the hell's going on. Because now you got to wait to see manner of death, cause of death. If he had a concussion while he was walking around on the street, did he fall over the rail, hit his head on the rocks, and then roll down into the water? Did something fall out of his pocket, card, and he went to reach for it over the rail or while he was throwing up? That was one person's theory yesterday. Card fell out of his pocket while he was throwing up, and he went to reach for the card and then fell on and tumbled down. I don't know. Something still is strange about that bridge and the pingings and all that. Let's get down to business. Hold on. Because I don't think the parents are going to still be satisfied. I just got a feeling that they're not going to be satisfied with this information. So
we are on top of breaking news right now. Crews have pulled a body from the river that they say belongs to Riley Strain, the missing college student from Mizzou. They say it does not appear that foul play was involved with this. Brendan Tierney is at the site where crews entered the water. After making the discovery, the body was found underneath a barge. Brendan, a lot of...
Before I finish that, I also have an update pertaining to Kate Middleton. She has cancer, so many people probably wondering what was going on with Kate Middleton overseas in the UK. But Kate Middleton, a part of the royal family, she has cancer and she's right now undergoing chemotherapy. For those of you who follow content pertaining to the royal family, my prayers are with she and the family, the children, so on and so forth. Once again, recapping Riley Strain, and then I'm going to check out of here. 3-part live. Please go back to the beginning of this live to get the said information pertaining to Carlee Russell, the Fletchers, found guilty, 20 years in prison. Riley Strain, body found. Shirt on, watch on, recap, what happened, prevention. You don't want to end up a Riley Strain, because in the end, as I said in my live stream last night, you don't know him. You didn't know what he was going through. I still find it weird, strange, him being over here by this river, going over here by this river. Don't know if he Googled the wrong tempo. I brought you that information at the beginning of this live. Perhaps he Googled your tempo, was following suit of those directions, and this is how he ended up in the river. But you still can't explain that. If he Googled the wrong place, he's going by the river, then how'd you get in the river? Because the river's down here. He's up here. Still doesn't make any sense to me. And as far as that older man falling in the river yesterday, all this is crazy to me because I don't understand why anybody is hanging around this damn river. What is the deal? I don't understand the homeless people banking on the river, living on a slope. Why would you live on a slope to accidentally fall in the river? This is baffling to me. Those homeless camps, you are on rough terrain. It doesn't dawn on you that when you go down to get into your encampment, that you could accidentally fall down the rocks, hurt yourself, break an arm, leg, tooth. I don't get it. This is why I don't understand how he ended up over there. I'm confused.
Activity there. We just saw the medical examiner leave that scene as well. What else are you learning?
Amanda, yeah, we saw a medical examiner transport vehicle heading out of the scene here, escorted by Metro Police. Presumably, that was where the body of Riley Strain was. That was the only medical examiner car we saw leave the scene out here. In addition to that, there's been Metro Police boats and a large, heavy police presence out here at what's an oil refinery. It appears to be an oil storage facility out here along the banks of the Cumberland River. Metro Police say that Riley's body was found about 8 miles from downtown, and there is no foul play suspected as they are still out here on scene. I want to give you a bit of a closer look at what he...
So far, the chief is saying no foul play from what they saw of the body. Is that true? Will the medical examiner bring back a finding of no foul play? No head injuries exacted by a human, no injuries to the body exacted by a human. How did he get into the water? This is what I'm trying to grapple with. You have the body now, but how did he get in the water from up top? Because you've got to explain this some kind of way, because the parents are still going to be wondering how their child got in this water. And we have a last visual at 9:57 p.m., a ping at 9:58 p.m., and then no other video so far pertaining to Riley Strain. So what happened and how did he get in that river?
Exactly, we are seeing out here right now as Metro Police on scene. Still have a couple of vehicles out here at the gate. There was a time earlier they had 4 or 5 vehicles blocking the gate out here. The heavier police presence is back towards the water where there are still a number of Metro Police vehicles. We've seen the crime scene unit. We've seen unmarked cars all coming out here today, this morning. Metro Police on scene throughout the past couple of hour, 45 minutes or so, have shifted their focus from where they were a little bit downriver out here. It appears that there wasn't access to the boat to get on the water down there where the body was actually found before Metro Police came out here. We are awaiting a briefing from Metro Police. We're told it will happen out here on the scene to get more information about exactly how this body was found. Metro Police, exactly how they were able to identify it as Riley Strain today. Of course, Amanda, marks 14 days since the 22-year-old University of Missouri student went missing after being kicked out of a Broadway bar. So much of that focus had centered in downtown Nashville, where Riley was last seen, went missing. And of course, over the past couple of days, they shifted all the way down river to the Cheatham County Dam, Cheatham County line, searching the river there. That's where I was yesterday. So we're going to continue focusing on exactly what's happening out here throughout the day, as it does appear Metro Police are clearing the scene somewhat out here. We're awaiting an official briefing from officers.
All right, if you can stand by for us, Brendan, because we have a few more questions for you, but we want to get folks some perspective if we can. Originally this morning, crews and a flurry of crews responded to 61st Avenue North in the Nations area of Nashville. This is video from that scene, and this is where they first responded after getting reports of a body in the water. This is where they say that they realized that a body was trapped underneath a barge. And then a few minutes later, everybody left this particular area and went about 3 miles away to where we just saw Brendan onto Ed Temple Boulevard, which is right by TSU. And that's where they said, okay, you know what? This is where we're going to be able to get into the...
TSU is a historically black college in Nashville, Tennessee. Tennessee State University. So obviously he was found near Tennessee State. So we're talking about 8 miles or so away from the jurisdiction of where he allegedly last pinged and was last seen on video.
Water, it was too steep at the other location. Let's try this other area. And we're able to see that they were able to make it right into the water there to perform that recovery effort. And it did not take long for them to confirm that the body that they found in the river does indeed belong to Riley Strain. It is important to note, they say there does not appear to be any obvious signs of trauma from foul play, but that an autopsy is going to happen so that they can better determine.
So far, from visual, he did not have any obvious wounds. Had on the shirt that was rumored to be with a homeless person. Also had the watch on. We will wait for an autopsy to see cause, manner of death.
What happened here? We knew that this location where they were searching is not far, of course, from where the focus of the search for Riley Strain has been unfolding for 2 weeks now today. Brendan Tierney, let's talk a little bit more about exactly what you've been seeing from that scene. It really didn't take much time from the time authorities got to this second location for us to see that medical examiner truck leaving the scene and other officers following and leaving.
Yeah, Amanda, when we saw that medical examiner transport truck come by, it drove right past me. It had a Metro government vehicle in front of that, followed by a Metro police car. Of course, they were escorting that medical transport vehicle away from the scene here. And a short time later, there was another just flood of police cars coming out from the gate behind us, followed by a trailer. It had 2 boats on it that were down at the water. They made their way out of the scene here as well just a short time ago.
And we know that in about 2 minutes here, Metro Police are prepared to begin walking us through this investigation and their response to both of these different scenes. So we anticipate that Dawn Aaron here in a moment, or another member of the Metro Police Department, will be sharing updates on how the report came in, how the discovery was made, and what's coming next. Of course, we know the autopsy is going to be the very next thing, but the initial indication is no signs of foul play or no observations of trauma related to foul play.
Yeah, we got these notifications probably about 2 hours ago now, and we've had a crew out there on those scenes following this very closely. It's been 2 weeks since Riley Strain went missing in downtown Nashville, and really a timeline that we've seen, those progressive videos that have been released over the past few days of just showing a bit of a glimpse of what has led up to what we found out.
So 9:45, right about now, any minute now, we're expecting Metro Nashville Police to give us an update on what's happening now and what happens next. It doesn't sound like their investigation includes anything regarding foul play, but of course they're waiting on an autopsy to confirm all of that information. Downtown Nashville, and specifically the water, has been the focal point of their search and their investigation. And we know it's because that's where his phone last pinged from, 9:53, 2 weeks ago Friday, after he had been kicked out of a bar, after he had been shown on camera stumbling through parts of downtown Nashville and even having what seemed to be a very brief yet normal interaction with the Metro Police officer.
Yes, he said hello. He said hello back, and they both went about their business. Again, the story that we've been following very closely, video there just showing Riley downtown that night that he went missing 2 weeks ago. Today and throughout the series of videos we've been showcasing you throughout the last few weeks, you see that timeline of what led up. Ultimately, we're going to find out some more details here, hopefully in the next few minutes, from Metro Nashville Police as they're working at that investigation.
We saw a swift response so far this morning. So from the time that the report came in to crews showing up at that original location in the Nations at 61st Avenue North, to begin responding to that report of a body in the water, to the point that they made their way to the second location to actually be able to get into the water to reach the barge where the body was found. I mean, all of that happened fairly quickly this morning. So I think it's safe to say a pretty swift response as
He obviously was under a barge, which I mentioned that during my live stream yesterday. Could he be hung on to something underneath? The reason why his body did not float up. A timeline was given that this could take up to at least 3 weeks, 21 days for the body to float. So perhaps this is the reason why he never floated to the top, is because he was under a barge or lodged under the barge. So now you got to ask that question. How long was he under the barge? How did he get in the water? Fell in the water, accident, pushed in there? What? Altercation? Because if you can't believe this version about that, the shirt and the homeless person and the woman seeing the shirt that she thought belonged to Riley, and he has surfaced with the shirt on, how can you believe a version that there was a commotion? Just saying. Because the first thing you're going to say is, well, everybody can't be lying. Well, obviously, these are these people's versions. And he's been found with the shirt on. So now you got to say, do you believe the version that there was a commotion? And there was an altercation or a push or shove or what? He was hit, pushed. I don't know. Because now we got to wonder, where's his wallet? What did he actually have on him the night he went out to those bars? Number one, did he only take a debit card? Was the debit card working before he went into the water? Number one. How much money was on it? Did he have cash on him? Cash app cards, only one card. How did the card get out? Off his person. Did he have a wallet? Where is the wallet? And of course, he also had a phone. Still questions that people will ask. Was this an accident? Take the poll. Thank you for joining me. I will repeat and repost these posts to my community page for others to take the polls pertaining to this new information of Riley Strain being found in the river 8 miles down near Tennessee State University. For those of you who are not familiar with Tennessee State, it is a historically black college in Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you for joining me. How long was he under that barge? Only 9 votes. Come on, you guys, take the poll. 33% say not an accident. 22% says yes. 44% of you are not sure. And naturally, we don't know what really happened. So far, no visible wounds to show, that he was battered or anything. But did he have a concussion? Did he actually hit his head on that concrete barrier pole, or did he scrape his head face on the concrete? You can't see to say. Obviously, there was no visible wounds, bleeding when he passed the cop, because I would assume the cop would have said something to him. Hey, sir, you look hurt. What happened? Blah, blah, blah. He spoke to the cop. He seemed fine. But we don't know if he just tried to straighten himself up because he's walking by the cop. And then the ultimate question, why was he over there on that side of the community walking? Where was he going? Hotel not over there, but Your Tempo is nearby. I brought you this information pertaining to the distances of all the places. Did he Google the wrong place? And he was going to Your Tempo, a software company. I also Googled Tempo the other day, and another Tempo place comes up, and it's like 30 miles out, 30 minutes away, and it's a coffee shop that closes at 2 in the afternoon. I don't even think it's really in the Nashville area, but anywho, Nashville is the address. Something's off still, and it's just a matter of what they will bring forward as far as more CCTV footage and the autopsy. 17 votes. 38% of you are not sure that it's an accident. 38% of you say no, it was not an accident. 23% of you say yes, it was. Tempo Hilton to Your Tempo software company. 5 minutes by car, 25-minute walk from Tempo to Your Tempo. Tempo Hotel to Loop 32 Bridge is a 5-minute car drive, 10-minute walk. So once again, Tempo Hotel to Your Tempo software company, 25-minute walk. Hotel Tempo to the Loop 32 Bridge, 10-minute walk. Naturally, the Luke Bridge is closer to the water. That's why you saw him in video footage over there. Did somebody actually see him throw up? Number one. Will vomit be on that shirt or remnants of vomit if they can test it? Just saying. Robertson Parkway Bridge to Your Tempo Software Company, 12-minute walk. 3 minutes by car. Hilton Tempo to the Loop 32 Bridge, 5 minutes by car. Once again, 10-minute walk. Tempo Hilton to Your Tempo, 25-minute walk. So the shortest walk is from the Hilton Hotel where they were staying to the Luke Bar. That would have been a 10-minute walk. And I asked all the pertinent questions pertaining to the Google searches. Did it mislead him to the wrong place? Unfamiliar with being downtown, upset, depressed, on meds, took something, took a pill, drug, don't know, fell over on the rail, dropped his card, throw it up, went to reach for the card, went down the rocks, went in the river. I don't know. We now have verification. He has the shirt on. I'm assuming the pants as well. They hadn't mentioned anything about the pants. Any type of injuries, concussion. What will the autopsy say? Rumors about the shirt. Now you can put those to bed. He had the shirt on. How do those people feel who were spreading this rumor out and putting this out about the shirt? Can't be feeling too well? Frat brothers, how are you feeling? I don't really know how they're feeling, because I didn't see too much concern. I'm just gonna say that. I don't feel like they had any concern for his whereabouts that night. Because if you were clocking him through Snapchat, I don't know. You didn't get an Uber or a Lyft to try to find him. So, and I haven't heard that they have. They haven't spoken out. Now, will they speak out? How about that? Curious. Still oddities in the storyline. Will the parents find some type of solace with the information? Because naturally we have to wait on an autopsy. So we have to wait on that before they can decide how they feel about this case. Prevention. Due diligence. Be aware of your surroundings, your company. Do not get drunk to the capacity where you're incoherent and where you can hurt yourself. And please don't go near water. Don't walk near water. And if you need help Googling or calling, please ask someone to help you. Go into a business that's well lit, that has adequate light, and go in and ask somebody, could you please help me with my phone? I can't hear well, see well, whatever. Ask for help. And be aware of yourself and what you imbibe and what you take, because you cannot assume that people will have your back. And that's just the bottom line, whether you're at home or you're away out of town. Be aware of your faculties.
Authorities made their way down to the river. The initial obstacle, it sounds like, was that at that first location, it was just too steep of an embankment to be able to get into the water from the Nations. And that's why they had to circle back to the TSU area at Temple Boulevard to try to find a launch point for their boat so that they could get into the water and begin the recovery process.
Well, even last night they were doing some searching, some nighttime searching for him, and they visited the Cheatham County Dam just a day before that. And again, people coming from out of state to find this young man. A lot of people have been looking for him. I think we just got an update that our Jordan James is live now from one of those scenes that police have been searching. Jordan, what have you learned?
We will see.
Good morning, Alexandra. Right now, we're standing by trying to get an update from Metro Police about the body of Riley Strand being discovered. Now, this comes 2 weeks after he was reported missing following going to Luke Bryan's bar, where he was kicked out and made his way to the Cumberland River to not be seen again. And again, officials really focused heavy on the Cumberland River, considering he was captured on surveillance camera wandering along the walkway, interacting with Metro Police, and they had really had a feeling that he may be in the Cumberland River. At this point in time, we don't know exactly how he ended up here. Again, we're waiting on those additional details, but I have noticed that it appears that a lot of volunteers have started to show up here at the scene. As you guys know, a lot of folks have been invested into this search as a result of the social media following that this has generated, given that his story resonates with so many for the simple fact that...
I also want to try to say about toxicology. Exactly. hopefully everything will be thoroughly done pertaining to every avenue tested, you know, hair, lungs, all of that. Because that's another thing pertaining to death. When they do an autopsy, if done properly, you're going to test everything. So now you got to test water in the lungs, but nobody thought about that. If he went in the water alive or deceased. Since there's no footage of anybody coming and going, nobody luring him, jumping him, assaulting him, last check. Don't know if there'll be any more videos shown. Was he assaulted, pushed, shoved, had a concussion, got violently sick, ill, passed out, and somehow fell over a rail or barrier or however, because I don't really know the exact location of where what was, right where he could have fallen over. There are some, each place by the water is made different. Some got a rail, some's got the concrete barriers, and they're separate, they're round, and then they have a fence past that. Then over that is trees, shrubbery, and then you go down. So each place by the river is not made the same. So as you hear this reporter saying, where he's located now is 8 miles down. You now got to bank on injuries, toxicology, hair samples, lungs filled with water, not filled with water, and how long he was actually in the water. Because he's under a barge, don't know how long he was under the barge, so this is all pertinent information. How long was he under the barge? Did he actually go in the water at the last sighting and ping? 9:57, 9:58, okay? Did he go in the water somewhere after 9:57, 9:58? What's the deal with the Snapchat ping at 11 p.m. says his frat brothers? Still lots of questions. Autopsy reports, manner of death, cause of death, floating downstream from that location, that Robertson Parkway Bridge, or did he go in the water at another location? How about that? Will we find out he went into the water at another location, farther down, top of the bridge? Did he jump in the water, walk down to the water to look at it, but fell in, had a concussion? I don't know. I just find it strange just being over there. That's just me personally. But I wasn't him. I'm not him. As I said at the beginning of this live stream, feel free to go back where I'm really descriptive about this story. I can only judge the story according to my own self. And that's the gist of the story. I'm not him. So what I would do, he didn't do. That's anybody. And you can only judge the story really according to information given, CCTV footage, and what you believe is the truth. And people were banking on this shirt and homeless person and this Sabrina person, and now we find out that's not true. He had his shirt on in the water when recovered this morning. So no homeless person had his shirt. They may have had a shirt that looked like his. They may have had a shirt that's identical to his, but it wasn't Riley Strange's shirt. So now you got to ask yourself, what's the truth pertaining to what the fuck happened in that damn bar, which led to all of this nonsense? Why was he over by the river? How did he get into the river? The river is below. He's up here, last ping, last seen. How do you go from up top on concrete to down here floating in the water to be 8 miles down? That's the question.
That Riley was out on Broadway and didn't come home. I know his parents were holding out hope for several days that they would be able to take him back to Missouri, but unfortunately that has not happened. But again, we're just standing by waiting for an update.
All right, Jordan, thanks. Let's talk about, if you're just joining us, what's going on right now. So we're on top of breaking news. The body of Riley Strain has been found this morning in the Cumberland River, and the authorities are saying
it's at 9:48 in the morning, everybody.
Based on the trauma that they're seeing, that an autopsy is pending to determine exactly what happened. But another piece of the story we have not yet talked about is this TABC investigation that's now underway. So we know that Riley Strain had gotten kicked out of a bar. He was seen stumbling around downtown, and then automatically the TABC said, you know what, we're going to look into where he had been served alcohol that night. Apparently, the bar is saying he was served one drink there, had two waters. So now that investigation by the TAB has expanded.
So what will that investigation discover or reveal? Was he overserved? That's going to be the next question in this poll. 37% of you are not sure it was an accident. 33% says no, it wasn't an accident. 29% said yes, it was an accident. Next question. Was he overserved at the bar? Will they show evidence that he was overserved? And it's not truth. They're not being truthful about the information they have given to the news and the public, because he allegedly went to 3 bars that night. And now I'm assuming that would include Luke 32. So I believe he was already drunk when he got to Luke 32, and you all did give him more drinks. And even if he only purchased the 1 drink, let's just say that's true, I would still believe he was drunk when he walked into the establishment and the bartender served him. I still don't understand this nonsense of he was helping somebody that's from the Chris relative, friend, or whatever. Each day they kept bringing us different information about the bar and how he exited, you know, back, front, side door. He only bought 1 drink and 2 waters. Then it was he didn't have a tab, but he was trying to pay a tab. That don't make no sense. Now we have the friend of the family saying, oh, he was trying to help somebody. So that doesn't make any sense. So he's going to walk up to the bar to pay a tab that he doesn't have. And then the bartender is going to say, oh, I want you out of here. And then he's also trying to help somebody. See, this is what I kept saying about this story. There were too many people talking with no receipts. And I didn't bank on nothing that was said for that very reason. You have him now in the water, out of the water, with his damn shirt on. Because you don't know what's the truth. You don't know the people talking in the story. You don't know if the people are trying to immerse themselves in the case to be seen, to get clout, to get attention. You don't know if this boy was depressed, upset, mad because he got put out the bar, mad because he couldn't get in the second bar. Nobody was trying to follow him, find him. He's angry, he's pissed off, he's depressed, he's upset. For all we know, he came off a high, and he just said, the hell with it. Nobody cares, nobody's looking for me, nobody want me. I'm in the city wandering around aimlessly. You don't know because you don't know what the fuck happened at that bar. And I don't care what nobody says. The start of this story is the bar. And possibly before. Because you need to know what he was doing, what he was talking about, his attitude, his demeanor, conversations on the cell phone while he was out at the bar. That can show his mood. And naturally, you don't really know what he was feeling because people don't always tell you, hey, I'm pissed off. Hey, I'm feeling some type of way. Hey, I'm in my feelings. You don't know. Was he overserved at Luke 32? That's the next poll. Thank you for joining me. Take the poll, everybody.
To look at where else he had been that night. And they're trying to answer the question of whether or not he had been overserved.
Right, and we do know that he was here visiting Nashville with a group of his fraternity brothers from the zoo at the time, a senior at that college.
Hello, Mr. Free. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to the Vault Sale. Happy Friday. Have a safe weekend. Be safe this weekend.
Of trying to find him, and now we're hopefully going to get those updates here.
Please be safe.
Again, no foul play suspected as of this point.
Yeah, I think that they
Oh,
are
South
getting ready.
Park.
If we could just take a live look back at the scene there, getting ready to begin this news conference. So we are noticing some act ready to bring that to you live, hoping for more information from authorities this morning about who reported the discovery of that body, what obstacles they faced in that recovery.
This is just a recap of what I already played you from the chief of police this morning. I was trying to find something that's recent, like within the past hour, but I'm not finding anything as of yet. Of course, naturally, I'll come back later with any commentary pertaining to this new finding of Mr. Riley in the water. But basically, everything I'm coming up with is from 3 hours ago. And the chief has spoken. It's a very depressing story coming out of Nashville, Tennessee. And I was watching someone's video last night where they were walking through the city and going through different bars on Broadway. And as you see, nothing's changed. People are still going out. People are still drinking, having a good time. People are still patronizing that strip on a Thursday night. And now it's Friday. And that's the gist of the story. Things don't change. People still do the same thing, despite a missing person, inebriated person, possible accident or foul play. People resume. Life goes on. And him walking that stretch of street, you know, gave you something to think about. Lively lights, bright lights, bands playing. People were still doing their own thing. Exactly. And tonight is Friday night, 2 weeks to the date that the man went missing, went into the water some type of way. Nothing will change. So this is why you have to be aware of your faculties. You have to worry about yourself, because I have a feeling that he thought he was in good company. He thought he was going to have a good time, whether he got pissy drunk or not, excuse my expression, but he wasn't in the best of hands. And that's a scary feeling. Whether he knew downtown Nashville or not, been there a few times or not, he assumed he was in good hands. Why would he not think he was in good hands? He didn't think he was going to end up in dire straits on March 8th. What would lead him to think that? He went to this town for a college formal, fraternity formal. You think he thought he was going to end up in the river, however he got in there? This is why I kept telling everybody, you don't know people. And you're banking on what these people are saying and running to the news saying and running to this Chris person saying, when we now find out none of that was true. This is why I don't like repeating rumors in true crime stories. I don't. Because now we see he had the shirt on today. So everything you heard about the homeless man, the lady working, Miss Sabrina, that was not factual information. And maybe that guy, Ross, was just happy to have on a shirt. And it looked like that shirt he had, or it may be an identical shirt, but it wasn't Riley Strange's shirt. That's why you can't believe everything that's repeated. This is why I tell people that all the time when they come in the chat. You can't get mad because I don't want to repeat what you're saying about what you heard on Facebook or Reddit or another YouTuber's channel. I don't have to. I wasn't there. And I'm not getting ready to pass that shit like it's the spoken word and make all these videos saying it's the truth, and then you find out later it's not. 21 votes. Was he overserved at Luke 32? 24% yes, 38% no. Wow. 38% not sure. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, Mr. Free. Yes, I try to only repeat what the news says. And it's not to say, let me make this clear, it's not to say that the news cannot get the story wrong, that they can't put out a misprint, that they don't fact check, because sometimes they don't fact check. But the point is, I'm going to bank with the news before I bank with Peter, Paul, and Dick. I ain't doing that. He said, she said stuff. Because now I've got to worry about the frat brothers putting out his phone pinged at 11 p.m. And I told you that late last night when I came on. What's the truth to all of that information? Because now that he's been found in the water, you now got to wait on autopsy to see how long he was in the water. Was he alive when he went in the water? Very important. Was he alive? Because he could have went in the water already deceased. Checkmate. So was he alive when he went in the water? How long was the body in the water? How long was the body submerged under the barge? See, all that's going to be relevant to get to the truth of what happened to Riley Strain. So this is still a mystery until the autopsy has been exacted. I'm going to go ahead and end this poll. Thank you for joining me. Riley Strain has been found deceased in the water, everybody. I'm not going to hold you all much longer. I want to bring you content pertaining to the border. Nasty business with our border. They're cutting the fence out there in the border, Texas, but they couldn't get over the big wall. The law says they can be arrested now, Supreme Court, but Mexico says don't send them back here. China says the same thing. We don't want the Chinese back. So what's going to happen with our borders in Texas? We are getting ready to have an all-out war right here in America. And this is what many of us have been trying to make our national government understand. While you're intervening in everybody else's business, running to everybody else's aid, over the years since 9/11, you have problems right here in America. You need the military to walk the streets right here in America. And I wanted to ask you all about that as well. How do you feel about the militia being on the subway trains in New York City? We also got information a month ago, some Hispanic men were fighting the police in New York City. We have a crisis here with the migrants. Now there's new information about Haitians coming in into the waters. This is bad, bad, bad. I'm all for freedom, but anybody should know there's a cost for freedom. Free ain't really free. And you can document that from those who were enslaved, finally free damn near a year later, and still couldn't roam the earth and buy property and live without being accosted and shot and killed and tortured. Many African Americans still could not navigate, and they were free. So these people are coming here, sliding into America, but at what cost? That'll be my next live stream. There's been also a Walmart shooting uploaded 18 minutes ago. Don't know the details of that. Kate Middleton has been diagnosed with cancer. She's currently undergoing chemotherapy. Carlee Russell in this live stream has gotten probation, has to pay back $17,000 plus. And the Fletchers, whose daughter was found melted into a couch, they each are getting 20-year sentence, suspended from 40 years. That's my content, everybody. I'm going to check out of here. I'm trying to bring you the latest information. When I get an update pertaining to Riley Strain, I will bring it to you. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. Just going through the queue, trying to check anything out about Mr. Riley Strain. Court TV has a video if you want to watch it. Hello, everybody. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you all for tuning in. Got so much to talk about. There's so much craziness going on in the world. I think I'm going to stop talking about true crime. I really don't like talking about true crime. It's redundant, and I don't like what comes along with talking about true crime. And I had already said this a year ago when I changed the name of this network from Everyday Shenanigans to The Vault. I didn't want Everyday Shenanigans on the headliner only because I was always talking about missing people, dead people, crazy crime stories. And I thought Everyday Shenanigans was really, more of a fun title. But nonetheless, I'm a very diverse person. I like all topics of conversation. And I don't want my channel built on just talking about missing people and deceased people. I like to talk about things going on in the world. I like talking about hypothetical situations. I like talking to you about what would you do in a certain situation. You might come in here one day and see a title, me asking you, what would you do? Let's say if you came home and saw your husband in bed with your sister, what would you do? That's Queen. Talking about breaking news, hypothetical situations, latest events, pop culture, everything. R. Kelly's lawyers feel like injustice was served with him getting this 30-year sentence out of New York. And I guess they will be appealing his conviction. How do you feel about that? See, all types of stories. I want to thank you for joining me. God bless all of you. Stay safe. 3-part live, Carlee Russell, Riley Strain, and the Fletchers. Carlee Russell, probation. Fletcher's 20 years in prison. And Mr. Strain has been found in a river 8 miles down near Tennessee State University, all-black college, with the shirt on, with the watch on, autopsy pending. When I get that information, I will bring that information to you. And I also would like to say this to young people and older, when you are out imbibing in alcohol or any other type of salacious activity, you need to be aware of your surroundings. You need to be aware of the company you keep. You need to be aware of the environment you're in. You also need to take notice that anything can happen to you at any given moment. You could fall, hurt yourself, pass out, overdose. You don't know what can happen once your eyes are closed. You don't know what can happen to you with your eyes half open. You need to be aware of your faculties. And if you know that you are a heavy drinker, you might need to drink at home. I'm all for going out, people watching, listening to music, parties, but all bets are off when you're drinking. That's what people don't seem to understand. And I believe Mr. Riley thought he was in good company, but let's just keep it real. He was not, because nobody walked him out of the bar. He was just aimlessly wandering around this damn city with strange people, expecting to have fun. And I don't know how he thought that. But that's the point. I'm not Riley Strain. Queen would never bar hop and get so plastered and just assume I'm going to make it back to my hotel by foot and assume somebody was going to do right by me, help me, whether I ask for help or not. I don't think like that. And I never have and I never will. I can hope, I can pray, but that's not the real world. And sadly, he was in the company of people. And whether you feel like they were not responsible for him, you're entitled to your opinion. But they were with him. And once he walked out of the bar, Riley Strain was on his own. And what he decided and how he acted in the bar, I don't know. But I'm 53 and I know he didn't just get put out of a bar because he was drunk. Something else was said and done in that bar and nobody wants to tell the truth. And that's the start of this bullshit, is that damn bar. Walked out of there, he's on his own. Obviously, he did not have good thinking skills for a 22-year-old, and he met his death in a 15, 20-minute interval from leaving that damn bar. And this is a lesson learned of why you need to be careful while out, period. Drinking or not drinking, because terrible things happen to people and they're not drinking. You could be hurt at home, walk out your door, in a car, in a bar, going to and fro to your car. Anything can happen. Was water in his lungs when he entered the water? How did he enter the water? Say no foul play, but is that true? Where did he enter the water? How did he enter the water? Regrets from his friends, associates. Will they finally speak to the public about Riley Strain? And the family, we need not ask. They have to be absolutely heartbroken. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $@BigAngie129 Cash App, stickers and checks. Always welcome to the live stream. Thank you for watching this network. Welcome to subs, new viewers. God bless all of you. Please stay safe if you're out drinking, walking, talking, whatever you got going on. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of the company you keep, and know that in the end, the only person that has your back is God, and God only. Have mercy on all of us, honey. Woo! I'm done. Thank you. Be safe out there. You've been listening to the Vault XL. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thank you.